Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the ISMONO Podcast. And today I'm very honored to have my very first female guest here on the podcast. It's Orlaigh.
Yay!
I just learned how to do the correct pronunciation. And I think this episode will be extremely interesting for all of the listeners, but also for me because I would say the female demographic in this bag enthusiast world is fairly small. So now getting to learn a couple of new perspectives will be very interesting. And maybe without further ado, could you maybe introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel?
Yes, so I'm Orlaigh, as you pronounced it perfectly, don't worry. My channel used to be called Gear by Orlaigh, but we recently changed it to Gear by Women for some future exciting works that I can't talk about, but we'll see.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. We decided to kind of create the channel to have like a female perspective on the gear. But I did start this way back in like 2021 where I was doing gear reviews for my sister who has the travel blog Dream Big Travel Far. So when videos started making more of an appearance on Google, we were like, well, it's probably best to do the gear reviews on YouTube.
Oh, you started with the blog, basically.
Yeah, so it was all written content.
Okay.
And then Google was like, no, I don't want written content. So they prioritized the video content. So we were like, well, this would be a great idea to kind of do the YouTube channel. But I guess like in terms of like, from my perspective, like I would say I'm someone who just absolutely adores like a bargain. Like I love something that is cheap, but I also am so aware that investing and getting your money's worth on something that is a really good product that can last longer is so important. And from that, like when I'm creating like my content, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I'm investing this much in a bag, what do I need to know? So that's why I do water tests, I do airline tests, I pack out the bag, I do fit checks, pros and cons. So that everyone that comes to the channel is like, right, I'm going to invest £300 plus whatever on a bag. I need all the information to know, is this the right decision for me? Okay, she's going to go through. And then I'm like, oh, if there's anything I've missed, then you're like, I want to know something about this bag, then just pop it below in the wee comment and I'll put it over in the community section. I'll take pictures, I'll create a short, whatever you need, because I'm just happy enough. Because I know what it's like to put all your money into something. Do you know what I mean? Like I love a wee bargain, so I'm like, oh, I just want to help out.
But how did you get into it? Did it start purely out of the interest to travel and looking for a travel bag, or how did it actually start?
The pure inspiration is from my sister and her partner who have been traveling the world, and they started traveling from 2016 with backpacks. And then they moved on to building a van, and now they live in a boat. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So they have
amazing.
like a whole big life around travel, and like I just took inspiration from that because like whenever I would go out and travel with them, it would be through backpacks and things, or even like luggages and all that. So it's like just from that, it kind of just sparked a real interest. I was like, oh, and then I was like, well, where's all the females?
Yeah.
Here I am.
Hello. So how did it start in terms of, so before you kind of dove into this interest, what was the bag that you were using, and what was the first thing where you bought the bag and was like, oh, that's what it's all about? Where was like the turning point?
Yeah, I definitely think Stubble & Co. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
They're like a London-based brand. That's when I was like, oh, because like when I was in school and stuff, it wasn't cool to have a backpack. You had to have had to have like a tote or a handbag. If you came in with a backpack, it was like, so then when I got it, you know, when you start to grow up and you're like, well, I've got back issues now, so I need a good bag that has back support, or, you know, I prioritize comfort. It was kind of like Stubble & Co. with their like back system that had like all the mesh and the loveliness. I was like, oh my God, this is like, this is a thing. There's bags out there that actually provide comfort. What do you mean? So yeah.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, let's go with that in mind. Let's go a little bit into your bag preferences, because that to me is very interesting. Let's start with what features and look would you look for your perfect bag that it needs to cover? Because I feel like, for example, I don't want to. My wife is not listening to this, so maybe I'm throwing her a little bit under the bus. And if you listen to it, I'm sorry. But
So sorry.
yeah, but she does dislike backpacks. So she doesn't like the look of it. Oh, most of them. I recently got a couple of beautiful leather bags, and she was like, "Okay, that's something I can see myself wearing." But she would never wear like an Evergoods bag, for example. So I would really love to know from your perspective, what features and what kind of look would your perfect bag have if you could decide on it?
Definitely. And like going off like in terms, I have to agree with your wife, like there is a lot of things in terms of like, I feel like the female were like aesthetics, like it's pretty much like it has to look gorgeous. Yeah, in a way. But for me, I don't know if you get that like where you are, is that weather resistance is literally my top thing, because we get all seasons in one day in Scotland. I'm just like, I need to protect my belongings. So that kind of weather resistance is a must. Also, I've noticed now since reviewing, I've become like, oh my God, I need every bag to have a bright interior. I can't see totally when agree. It's dark. Totally I'm like,
same.
I get really infuriated. I'm like, oh my God.
I get that, yeah.
So that's another thing. And then I guess like for like travel purposes would definitely be, I always look for like, if it's a travel backpack, like lockable zips or like a secret pocket, things like that. And then I guess if we're like talking about comfort, which not many bags do. I guess it depends on like the leaders, but it's the load lifters. Like I really look for those, because I think that really adds, especially for the female body. That's what's something that's going to fit a bit better to kind of fit the sternum strap and everything else into place.
Wow, I would have assumed that you would say I don't like load lifters because it's just too much here on the neck area.
I personally do. I do, because I just think it just, but then I guess you have to think about, do people like having their, like I like my backpack right up against my back.
Same.
So that's why I like the load lifters, because then you can get a better fit everywhere else, I feel.
Yeah. I personally, I understand that, but I kind of dislike load lifters purely, because when I ride a motorcycle, the load lifter strap-on is kind of always hitting my helmet and it's getting real loud. So I don't like them. But I can understand.
Understandable.
I can understand why you would want them. And in terms of looks, if you would, besides Stubble & Co., is there a look of a brand that you would, for example, let's say your best friend comes to you and says, hey, I really want a backpack that is high quality and that fits my style and my outfit. Every outfit, not only the outfit that where I'm kind of just is there a brand where you say, because let's imagine that girlfriend only has a specific budget of maybe 200 euros, so it's a good investment. Would there be a brand where you say like, okay, that is a look that I can see for you? Because obviously you won't recommend the 511 military backpack. That would be completely out of the question. But is there something in terms of looks?
Two that come to mind. Definitely in terms of looks, I feel like Bellroy have a lot of variety.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think they definitely provide lots of colors, lots of different styles, different price range as well. And they're good quality backpacks too, or bags. And also, I mean, this is quite controversial because a lot of people don't like the look of PackSafe's bags. But sometimes they do.
Colourful,
Yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes it's hit or miss. But that one I would say as well. Those are probably the two that stick out. I know after this podcast, about 1,000 will come to my head, and I'll be like,
of course.
Well, I should have said that.
I hope it doesn't come like in a negative way. I'm kind of concentrating on the look, and I hope it doesn't come across that it is a shallow question or something.
No, not at all.
I feel like I like fashion a lot, and I like to kind of, if something complements it, and I feel that most of the male demographics, and I hope I don't offend the male demographic, I feel like it's not that important that a backpack needs to fit a certain look. Especially sometimes I get weird comments where, oh, it's a military look, it doesn't matter, you can wear it to a suit. I feel it doesn't match. But
no, I would agree.
Sometimes I hear these kinds of comments, so I feel like that's why I'm asking you from a female perspective, and I hope it doesn't come across a little bit shallow.
No, I think like aesthetics is definitely up there for me as a female anyways. I mean, that's going to be each to their own. I don't think you're going to please everyone. Everyone's, everyone's going to be different.
But now that we got that a little bit out of the way, I would love to know, what do you pack on a daily basis? Because I throw everything into the kitchen sink, basically. I pack for redundancies. I have double cables. I have double the charger and stuff like that. So if you go to work, or if you go, I don't know, to the office, or maybe just for a small errand, what do you pack on a daily basis? So just so that I can get a feel of what kind of backpack you would gravitate to, or tote bag maybe, or whatever.
I definitely say I'm more like, I would go to gym and then to like a coffee shop. So my bag is filled with like shoes, like lifting shoes, chalk, grippers, and then I'll have like all the tech stuff. I'll have like my laptop, chargers, keys, wallet, all that. But a bit like you, I would love to be that person that is really organized, that uses all the organization in a bag, whereas I'm like, get it in.
I see, yeah. But that's a weird loadout, isn't it? Like gym wear, and it sounds a little bit like CrossFit gym wear.
Yeah.
So also like, how you call those, weightlifting belts? Do you need to carry that stuff too? Mm-hmm. That's a huge chunky piece of equipment, right?
It is.
And then the laptop. So damn, that sounds like a 25-liter backpack that you need on a regular basis.
Well, that's if you're doing legs. Then it'll change if you're doing upper body. So,
interesting.
But it's good, you have a variety of bags that you can choose from.
Yeah, of course.
But I definitely feel like, it's definitely 20 liters plus when it comes to like the day-to-day.
And are you, when you start to pack, so you have your, let's say in air quotes, regular office stuff, like your laptop, charger and stuff like that. Are you the kind of person that wants to separate with pouches? Because I would assume that especially the weightlifting belt would kind of scarf or scratch your equipment. Do you kind of like put that stuff into a packing cube just to be safe, or do you just throw everything in?
I want to be that person so badly. I honestly do. And I get inspiration from everyone because like I see that people use packing cubes and they're like, and I'm like, and then it just becomes last minute and I'm like, no. Unfortunately, I'm not that girl. But I would love to aspire to be that girl one day.
But I like that. I mean, it feels much more liberating in a way, because for the lack of a better term, you don't care.
Yes.
And it makes it much easier to not, I kind of, that feeling when you buy something new and you kind of baby it, and the first time you get a scratch into it, and then it's like, okay, it's just a tool that I use, right? And I feel like you are at that state where you are like, okay, I throw everything in it. It's okay.
Oh, but definitely 100% when you first get the bag, you're like, don't touch it. Nobody scratch it. Oh my God, everything's going in lovely. And then, as you say, like that first scratch, you're like, well, and then you just chuck it all in. You're like, it's done now, isn't it? So
I see. So now I would love to know, now going back again to a little bit of your female perspective in comparison to maybe a male perspective. What would you say, or how would you say does the female perspective of a bag differ from the male perspective in terms of how you potentially want to use it, and how, or what you potentially need? Because for example, I see in the office, when I go to the office, I see a lot of female coworkers that only use a big tote bag, no organization, and just throw everything in just because that is a fashion. I mean, I've never seen a female coworker with a Birkin bag, but like those kind of purses.
No, I know what you're saying.
So that's where I'm kind of going with this question. How do you think your perspective differs from a male perspective when it comes down to choosing a bag and to kind of maybe also review a bag? That would be interesting. Do you feel like it's different?
Definitely. So firstly, if I wasn't reviewing a bag, I think aesthetics would be 100% number one.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's going to be different for each person. But I think if I wasn't reviewing a bag, I would look at a bag first and be like, oh, that's nice or it's not nice. But as a reviewer, I think it definitely becomes different. But I do also think like we have different needs. Everyone has a different kind of perspective of what they want from a product and like how they prioritize that. From my perspective, I don't feel like, I represent all females. So
of course not.
But do you know what I mean? So everyone's going to still have their own kind of priorities in that sense.
Of course.
But I do think like when I'm reviewing, it's quite interesting that my first thought is the fit and the comfort, because it's always going to be different for us because we are shaped differently. Yeah. Like we have to think about how that hip belt's going to feel. Is it going to be a hip belt or is it actually going to turn into a waist belt? Yeah, or how that sternum strap's going to fit. Is it going to be there's not going to be enough material, so then your chest is going to be squished, or the strap's going to curve around, or there's those things that maybe that the male in their perspective that they don't prioritize.
Yeah, I see.
But then you kind of have to think about like, I guess it's different for product by product, because if I was choosing a pair of heels, aesthetically, I'd be like, oh, those heels are gorgeous. Like, give me them, but my heels are bleeding. So, do you know what I mean? Like, comfort goes out the window.
Yeah.
So, I guess, it's going to be down to each person. I would be interested to know, though, from your perspective, like, is comfort a thing that you...
Honestly,
would you think about that first?
Not first. I look at it, but I feel because I'm somewhat of a different build, because I'm so short. I feel like always that I'm not really looking at the comfort side, because sometimes it feels like all the bags are, in air quotes, too big for me. And then I see a lot of American viewers. I feel like all of the American males are huge. I mean, I did a high school year in USA, and I was so tiny compared to everyone else in my grade. And I was, it's so funny. I mean, to be fair, I'm also the shortest person here in Germany as well, so it doesn't matter.
It does not.
No, so it's sometimes I feel it's not very representative.
No.
How my build is and how my comfort is with. So I don't really look at. I always mention that I feel that the bag is comfortable. But I always kind of write, okay, that's my height. I'm fairly short, and it might be a little bit different. And I try to emphasize that is something that I like about that bags are so highly subjective and highly personal.
Yeah.
That it's very difficult to kind of say, okay, if this fits me, there's a probability that it might not properly fit you. So
yeah.
It's kind of difficult with comfort.
It is. And like whenever I'm reviewing, my partner's like 6'2" or something. I'm like, put on this bag. I need to know what it looks like on you.
6'2". I don't know. How tall is
6'2"?
That sounds tall. 6'2".
Yeah.
I need to Google that. 6'2" in centimeters.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, that's another thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tall.
Yeah, okay. So then I just put the bag on him and I'm like, how does it feel? Yay or nay? He's like, great.
Yeah.
But I just like to see, because obviously, like you said, we're all different. Like we've all got different shapes, different styles, different body types. So me being on my channel, yes, I'm representing the female, but my body's not going to be like every female. So I completely understand that. But it's just to give like that idea, to just kind of see it.
And what else are you looking at potentially with a different perspective? I mean, you mentioned previously that you're not necessarily using all of the organization in a bag. Do you feel like that you would use organization in the bag ever? Would you look for a lot of organization?
I do when it comes to, I would say more so like totes. Although like with totes, you can still chuck things in and stuff. I like the fact that there is still maybe like pop-up pockets and things like that. Like I like that kind of organization. But I would say, have you ever had knack bags?
No, neck bites? Sounds like something that I can eat.
Yeah, like a snack bag.
Yeah. Is it a snack? No? Okay.
But they have like the most craziest organization. So if you're a lover of organization, I highly recommend them. But that's like a bag where I'm like completely overwhelmed by, because there's so much organization.
How do you spell it?
KN.
Oh, KN.
Yeah.
AC. KNAC. And then bites?
Bags.
Bags.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, do you know whenever like I'm doing like a voiceover or something, like the auto corrects it to bike, but I'm saying bags.
Oh, I thought you meant bites, like a snack bite.
Oh.
That's why I was thinking of snacks. I've never heard of this brand.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have a lot of organization inside, I see.
Yes. They're great though, but I just go, oh my God.
Too much.
For me.
I see. Okay. And then in terms of, what's your preference in terms of color? I'm kind of over black bags, but I feel like everyone wants a black bag. Do you?
I do love a black bag because it's just, it'll go with everything in my head. But I do love like, what's the color? Like a bottle green.
Okay.
A bottle green, or maybe like a sand. But then I feel like I'm too chaotic for like a bright color, because I will mark it within like 10 seconds. So
okay.
I'm not the kind. Yeah, I'm not the kind of person that could deal with like a lovely white bag, because just no. I've got a puppy. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, I have to ask, what kind of puppy do you have? Where is it?
My partner took it out because she would have been just yapping in the background.
Okay.
Yeah. No, she's a German short-haired pointer.
Oh, how old?
She's 9 months.
Oh, okay.
She's
a
really baby.
Puppy. Okay.
Yeah, she's a baby.
So cute.
Yeah, so she just jumps up on everything. So you can't have anything that's nice and white.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense why you can't have a bright bag.
Yeah, color bag. Yeah. What about you? Would you go for, instead of black, what would you prefer?
Green is, I feel like, a very easy choice that would people gravitate to. But recently, I really like bright gray, like this gray.
Oh, that's lovely.
I like gray. I do like white, but I cannot, for the life of me, have anything white on my body, because for some reason, even though I didn't eat tomato soup or spaghetti, there will be a red dot on there, and I don't know why.
Somehow
I have no idea. It's just there. So
no, I get that.
I cannot wear anything white. And I mean, I just bought this sweater with this.
I was about to say, is that not white?
because it's somewhat tie-dye style, so I can kind of hide. If I splash something on it, I can hide it.
Spaghetti on it, you'd be like, oh, it's part of the
supposed
design.
To be like, it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I do like bright colors lately, or for at least a year. And I agree with you. Anything inside the bag should be bright. Bright yellow, bright orange, silver.
But I don't understand why brands don't. Like, do they look at that and go, do you know what? Great idea. Let me just make that bag dark inside.
I don't know. I have no idea what the reason might be.
Yeah, understand.
Maybe a cost-cutting measure.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because it's just much cheaper to have dark fabric. I assume. I'm speculating.
Yeah,
I have
that's
no
true.
idea.
Me either. I don't.
So yeah. But yeah, colors are great. I mean, I've never reviewed I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Cotopaxi.
Oh yeah, me either.
Those
Don't even
colours.
ask me. But they are stunning, aren't they?
Yeah. And I used to have this bright bag from I forgot the name. I forgot it. Anyways, but I love colors on bags. It's just
Topo Designs, the Rover
yeah,
pack.
that's one.
Is
Topo
it?
Design. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I had a
I love it.
40-liter Topo Design bag. I sold it, and I kind of regret selling it because it was such a cool color.
Oh, they're just
It was
lovely.
like all over the place. Very difficult to combine it in terms of looks with anything that you would wear.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I felt a 40-liter bag is not necessarily designed for everyday carry. So I feel I would get away with it being a travel bag and not matching my outfit. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But
they do have lovely colors over there, don't they?
And I don't know, to me it's like the world has become so grim and so dark. I just want some color in my life.
I know. I love walking about in my Topo Design Rover pack. I'm like,
exactly.
got
Which
like
color
a pop
do you
of
have?
life. It's like, I wish I could go grab it. It's like just all multi kind of colors. Like it's just,
okay,
do you know what I mean? All combined. Like you couldn't.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. It's lovely. Love it.
So I have another question. Let me just read it for you because it's longer than I can remember. It's a pretty male-dominated niche. What do you think should bag brands do to make bags that are popular in the bag enthusiast niche more interesting to a female target demographic?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, because I feel, for example, Evergoods, Go Rock. I mean, those are very male-centric bag brands.
Oh, yes. I
feel
have
like
reviewed.
Bellroy, Bellroy is very unisex, I would say. Air, I would argue somewhat.
I've never reviewed Air, and everyone keeps telling me review them. Are they good?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Solid. I mean, I would say they're a very solid recommendation for... I mean, it sounds a little bit like a negative, but I don't feel it's negative. They are vanilla in terms of being very easy to recommend to the mainstream demographic without kind of shocking them. I feel if you kind of recommend a Gorak, for example, then just the price tag alone will be like,
well, floor you.
Why would you recommend a 200 euro, 400 euro backpack? And I feel like Air is a very easy recommendation.
Okay.
But again, Air looks to me, I would say, somewhat unisex, but more on the side of being male target demographic. So at least that's how I feel about it. And Bellroy to me is a very unisex brand where I can see many people wearing it. Or for example, Grams 28 that makes this beautiful leather bags, also a very unisex brand. So I would, what do you think? Should brands, for example, like Evergoods, or these very bag enthusiast brands, or Mystery Ranch, I mean, that would be a little bit hard, but, what do you think should they do to kind of attract a different demographic?
I guess it depends on the brand, but like, I suppose some brands do it and some brands don't, where the website and like having women on the website.
Good point. Yeah.
And having them in
wear
photos.
the bag.
Yes, rather than the tote bag where they're like glamorized, like, oh, having them, a bit more inclusive in that. But I also feel like in terms of like the creative process, I mean, I'm not doing background checks on the brands or anything, but just having them being a part of the creative process, like women, I don't know whether they do or not, but some brands you can really tell that they don't. So I just think having females more inclusive in that process as well. But I also think like it's not necessarily the brand that needs to do more. I think like as you've highlighted throughout that this is the kind of reviewing process is quite niche in itself and it's quite male dominant.
Of course.
that even having someone like myself or other female reviewers that are out there as well reviewing backpacks kind of just makes it a bit more inclusive and a bit more for females to go, oh, I can actually wear that, or oh, that looks, oh, okay, I didn't think about that one, but oh, that works, you know. I think that's a good start in that. And, you know, I'm definitely glad to be one of those voices for that, or, you know, for females to come and be like, oh, I didn't think I could wear that bag, but it works.
Yeah, it's so interesting that there's a couple of newcomers coming up in the space. I actually have another guest next week who's also a female reviewer. So,
lovely.
I love to highlight more creators from that perspective. So
definitely. It'll be interesting as well, like from her perspective too.
Exactly.
Because it could be completely different, and that's what we need. It's like we need more female, because as I said, I'm not the one that's representing everyone.
Of course.
Because the next person will have a different body type and a different preference, and it's good to have, like we have so many males, it'll be good to have so many females as well to just kind of have that as
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's such, that's the beauty of this niche, that everything is so subjective. I mean, what we pack is different. What we need is different in terms of, I mean, if you live like in the desert, you don't need water resistance because it's not raining, you know?
I know.
I assume, or then you go to Indonesia and there you have heavy rain, and your body type is different. The height is different. The weight in the shoulders is different. So it's really important, I feel, that this reviewer space needs to grow with more people having a different perspective.
100%.
And it's just like, I always kind of compare it with movie reviewers. You kind of calibrate yourself to the reviewer because you kind of know, okay, that reviewer likes these types of movies. Those are the movies that I like. Therefore, if he or she likes that movie, then I probably like that too. So you kind of know at some point that the reviewer,
relationship of it.
The movie reviewer cannot be objective. It will be a very subjective review. And I feel that it is similar to this space where it's, you kind of need to calibrate yourself to the reviewer.
Yeah.
And having you now on the scene, I feel that there will be a lot of females who might think, okay, I like her taste, and I kind of see that she has the same packing methodology. Is that the right word?
Yes, that is.
I think so. So I probably will be happy with the same bag that she just reviewed, you know? And I
and then there's going to be people that'll be like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
I don't like that. And that's fine as well.
Exactly.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's okay. Like, you can, you know, not like it as well, but it's good to have opinions and options and things. So,
and speaking of different areas that unfortunately are still very male dominated, everyday carry. Is that something that you are interested in, or will you kind of have similar things?
I don't know. I'd actually be interested. When I say mine, I would love to know yours, because mine changes all the time.
Okay, hit me. What do you got?
Okay, it did start with, and I would always back Stubble & Co. I don't know why. I think it's just the water weather resistance.
Yeah.
But not everyone loves a roll top, right? So I get that. But their roll top 20 litre, you see everyone in the UK kind of wearing that all the time. So that's like my number one, but I don't use it all the time.
Oh, sorry. Interesting. You're going that route. I was actually referring to everyday carry, like phone, keys. Right? But that's okay. But I like. Let's do that afterwards, because you just started a very interesting conversation.
Blurted out the
that's okay.
bags.
So everyday carry bags. So Stubble & Co. Okay, continue.
Yes, and then I would have to say, I would definitely say my go-to for like work and gym is the Nomadic travel pack.
Oh, interesting.
I do. I really like that one. That's definitely one I would stick with. Yeah. Because I just think that's great in terms of, again, the water weather resistance.
Yeah.
And loads of other elements as well. And then one that I was really, really surprised at is the PackSafe women's anti-theft. It's like a wee 10 litre, which I would place in like a city break kind of style.
Yeah.
But I use it all the time.
Interesting.
I love it. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't get over the look of PackSafe.
This is it. This is what I mean.
It's very utilitarian in to some degree. It's not really cool looking.
No.
Unfortunately.
Sometimes they miss the mark on their looks.
Yeah.
So I was getting at earlier, like it's just like sometimes they get it and then sometimes they really don't.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Those are your everyday carries.
What about you?
I mean, as a bag reviewer, I switch a lot, but I do. If it comes down to just everyday carry for work essentials and stuff like that, I want something in the 22 liter range. That sounds fairly specific because I sometimes feel that 25 liters is a little bit too much because it then gets fairly big on my fairly tiny bag. And if it's too small, I can't get my Evergoods Cap 2 liter in it. And I mean, I always carry a mechanical keyboard with me.
My.
And
that's class.
Yeah, that's anything below 20 liters gets a little bit cramped. So it's always 22 liters.
I suppose you have more of like a kit range to come with you to work.
Yeah.
Being an editor and all that, you've got like all your techie kind of stuff.
And my gym, I do martial arts, so I always have my gym bag is so packed with gloves, headgear, shin guards, and then that doesn't fit inside a regular bag. So I have this huge duffel bag that always goes with me when I'm going to the gym. So I always need to separate it.
A duffel bag's a shout for the gym. I definitely feel. Yeah, 100%.
I love duffel bags. I would love to utilize them more. I was kind of thinking about, I have the North Face Base Camp duffel, the old version.
I have one up there, and you can't see it, it's up there. My partner has one. Yeah,
those are great, right? And I was always thinking about getting, they have these really tiny ones that are the size of a backpack. And I was kind of considering getting one of those, but it would be a little bit a waste of money because I don't know what to use it for, because it would be too small for my martial arts gear and too big for everyday carry.
Gear. Yeah. Maybe just a wee thought. Maybe just daydream about it and then just leave
because
it.
They have great colors. I have a yellow one.
Yeah.
The iconic yellow North Face Base Camp duffel.
That's bright, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it because if you travel with it, you always see it on the bag carousel. Yeah. So I like that.
Great.
Now going into everyday carry, wallet, keys, maybe knives. I know UK and Ireland have similar strict knife rules like Germany.
Yeah.
So isn't
that interesting that people that is an everyday carry for people?
I mean, in some parts of this world, a gun is everyday carry, and I feel that is so scary. But I mean,
that's a whole other subject.
I feel like I'm not sure. I'm really sorry for being this uneducated, but is Ireland part of EU? Or
Ireland is.
Ireland is, right? But not North Ireland.
No, I'm from the north. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you're okay, but overall, I feel like European weapon and knife laws are much stricter than. Although I feel like only USA is very loose with their knife laws.
That's very true.
I think Asia is strict as well. Now that I think of it, so I think it's only USA that is very loose. But I don't want to start like a political debate or
They'll
something.
be like in the comments
I'm a little bit scared now. But in terms of everyday carry, do you fill up your pockets, or do you wear a sling bag that you fill up with your personal everyday carry? And if so, what is it? Or do you feel like, that's just too much for me?
No, my sling is literally glued to my body, which is Belroy, the light belt bag.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love that thing.
The light belt.
Have you ever tested it?
I have the hip bag. I like the Bellroy hip bag. That is one of my
I haven't
favorite.
tested that.
So
This is like tiny as well, I think. I think it's like a 1 liter.
Sling bags. So the Bellroy light
Belt bag.
Oh yeah, I have that one too. Yeah.
Do you like it?
I prefer the hip bag, to be honest, because
literally sits on your hip, does it?
It does, but it's also fairly small on your body. And I know. What I didn't like about the light belt bag is that it doesn't have like a front zipper.
Yeah.
So you have the main compartment and then in the back another zipper. And I prefer to have one zipper in the front because I have my doggy bags and my key inside the front.
You've got
pouch.
You've got a dog?
Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
I got a big Labrador, which might have like some genes of a Danish Doge inside. So he's really huge. He's like a 44 muscular kilo.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Sorry, I digress.
I love dogs. And I used to have a small Cairn Terrier. So, but my wife was kind of not. I'm the kind of person, as soon as the dog is like small, I tend to carry it.
Yeah. Did they get used to that?
My dog did like it. She was like, okay, peasant, carry me over the street. I don't want to walk. When my wife was like, she can walk. No,
you're like, no.
I need to carry her.
My princess.
She's hurt.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that with bigger dogs, no.
I try. I could, and he was like, with the first time I picked him up, he was like, what the hell is going on? But okay, that's nice. And I was like,
your back's like gone. I know. It's off.
So you have the light belt bag on your body. What's inside on a daily basis?
Keys.
Okay. On an organizer?
No. Well, in the belt bag, there's like a mesh.
Oh, okay. So
there's a key lash. I think there's a key lash, but this is what I mean by in terms of if there's organization there, my mind goes. I just chuck it still in.
So it's just a key ring with all of your keys. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the poop bags for the dog.
Mm-hmm.
There will be the wallet, the extra wallet. Have you ever had? Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I just switched to this one.
Yeah. Aren't they lovely?
Yeah, I've used them so many times. I switched to this double oak one previously.
That's lovely.
But I wanted something thinner for my current EDC, so I switched back to the extra wallet. It's great.
But that's like another thing in terms of like wallets and purses and what females get stuck with as well. Like I feel like we get stuck with these like chunky purses.
Yeah.
When those ones are absolutely lovely, but then Exeter's website is very male dominant.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that's true.
Yeah.
Do you have the Parliament with the leather, or do you have the?
I have the Parliament one with the vegan leather one. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I do.
So that's your wallet. Phone probably.
Phone is in the back usually, and then keys, wallet, phone, lip balm, Carmex. Same. Love it. Some chewing gum. And then probably, depending if my pockets are full, I'll have the dogs, like 2 balls, like throwing the balls with them. Yeah. They'll be in there too. So
they're pretty, aren't the balls pretty big?
Yeah, so it's a tight squeeze, but it closes because there's flexibility.
Oh, yeah.
It does close. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like though with that color, I think I got like the brighter color and I wish I went for like the darker one. That's what I was saying in terms of the colors. You have to go for darker when you have a dog. 100%.
But I mean, that's a pretty solid everyday carry.
You think?
Yeah, it's actually, I would say it's a normal everyday carry, or what people would consider like everyday carry, because you have a proper wallet, you have your phone. I mean, as I said, we in Europe have pretty strict knife laws, so it would have surprised me if you would have had a knife in there.
I would have probably got arrested on the spot. Yeah.
Probably. But I feel like with being a female, there would be a little bit of leeway in terms of
true.
having a knife.
Self-defense.
A male would probably be arrested. Maybe a pen would have been nice.
Do you like pens?
Yeah, sure. I've never used them.
But do you use them in like backpacks when they have like those little pen holders?
I try to, but because I'm faster to write down notes with a pen than to kind of write them down with the keyboard. So when I get a lot of client feedback, I need to write it down, but I never put the pen inside my everyday carry. It's usually in my backpack.
Because I feel like if I was to do that, then for some wild reason, I've lost the lid and then I put the pen back in and then the pen goes all over the bag.
Yeah.
So, but that's just me as a person being...
I switched back to pencils. I can write better with pencils.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason. I don't know why that is. My mom says because I'm stubborn, I kind of push down too hard when writing.
Oh, yeah.
I have to, unfortunately, admit I am stubborn, so there might be some truth to it.
There might be it.
Yeah. Why I push so hard. And I don't know, with pencils, sometimes I gravitate to not push that hard because I know that it could break off. So, yeah, that's why I...
Then you'd have to carry a sharpener and it would be a whole ordeal.
No, I use those mechanical pencils. I'm too lazy to kind of sharpen.
Oh, the ones that you use.
Click, click. Yeah.
Oh, that's very fancy.
Yeah. And maybe it's also like a defense tool if you want to stab someone.
I love how we've gone down the line of knives, stabbing, police.
Switching it completely into a political direction.
I know.
So, now to continue with political, what are you voting next month? No, sorry.
Well,
all right. Thank you so much for answering all of these questions.
You're so welcome.
Where can people find you if they want to look for your Instagram, YouTube channel, or...
I would be so grateful if people could look for me over on Gear by Women on our YouTube channel and just have a wee nosy. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't. But I'd be happy enough.
Instagram as well?
Instagram as well, but stick to the YouTube at the minute. Need someone to work on that Instagram. I'm a bit lacking on that.
What are the next videos, by the way? Anything coming up?
I'm trying to steer more towards getting reviews out on, overhead locker bags, what fits for different airlines.
Oh, interesting.
Because I feel like a lot of people, especially coming into the summer, and I create boxes. I don't know if you've seen, I've created like an EasyJet box.
Oh, wow.
So I put the bags in there to test them to see if they fit for different airlines. So I'm just going to create more. So next one's Ryanair, Spirit Airlines.
That's impressive.
I'll just start doing that so then people can actually see before they... Because I hate when you rock up to the airport and they're like, fit this in the box. And you're like, I don't know if it'll fit.
That is a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very difficult task considering there are so many airlines.
Oh, so many.
And also many airlines going like bankrupt. And
oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, so...
I better keep an eye out for that.
where the hell do you store all of those boxes
So
then?
even there's one room that's across the hall and nobody goes into it because it's my studio and I'm like...
Okay, so you kind of need to carefully open the door. Or if you open it too fast, everything falls out.
Yeah, it's like that.
Interesting. So you're going all in with the bag reviews this year.
Yes, definitely. I love it. And I love I love building a wee community. They're so lovely. They're really nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, everyone, don't forget to subscribe to Orlaigh's channel. And again, thank you so much for taking the time and join me on this podcast. And everyone, thanks for listening. And we see you in the next episode. Thank you very much.